Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to the Quantum Astrology Gathering. And with me today, I have my friend Martha Alter Hines, and we're kind of flipping the script because she's interviewed me more than a couple of times, I think, on things that she's done. And we've been friends for a long time. We kind of both studied astrology in the similar group that we came out of. We studied in evolutionary astrology, but both of us have kind of gone way off the script of evolutionary astrology in many ways. Wouldn't you agree?
Def- Definitely, that's true for me. Yes.
Yeah, it's definitely true for me. I'm kind of, in fact, well, I don't want to be upset any evolutionary astrologers, but I kind of feel that that's become, for some, that's become a bit of a rigid system in itself,
Mm.
um, in some ways. And we are in this time of just this massive expanding consciousness, and we I just think we have to explore and be open to many other discoveries, bodies, planetary nodes, all that kind of energy. And I'm not suggesting in any way that they all have to come into natal astrology, but this is about a different way of doing astrology in a co-creative, I think you said co-remembering way as well, and just bringing in that um, intuition, for want of a better word, instead of just this linear, um, this means this means this. So Martha is very much in alignment with that. So Martha, do you just want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you are going to introduce us to today? I know you've got other things, other people will have heard you talking about this, but
Ah,
my crowd probably not.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm super honored
Mm,
to be here because
mm,
like I was saying to you, and as you know about me, yes, I'm all about us, expanding our ways of approaching astrology, life, all of the above. And I want to say,
mm,
I actually want to honor my history with evolutionary astrology. I mean, I'm sure you would
mm.
agree, there's so much in evolutionary astrology that I still take with me. And
Oh, me
yeah,
too.
of course, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was mentioning to you, I have Uranus going back and forth over my Jupiter in my ninth house. So it's like I'm steeped and rooted in the evolutionary astrology
Mm.
stuff, and then it's just kind of exploding at the same
Oh,
time.
and and kind of this is that, well, it's for me too, but I think this is the way we have to work with astrology for the future. No
Mhm.
matter what you were trained in, no matter, they always work. All the systems, all the house systems, everything works, but we have to kind of take it and be open to kind of um, just seeing how it works and how it feels. I think really this is more. Anyway, yeah.
Exactly. Um,
I'll let
yeah,
you
and
go on
oh,
again.
just to tell people a little bit more about me, I originally was a clinical social worker, a psychotherapist, actually also a body worker, but most of what I did for 20 years was working with children in the child welfare system, as a social worker and a therapist. And so I have that kind of sitting there in the background for me. And now what I notice in my approach to astrology is I sometimes feel like a social worker of the cosmos in a certain way. I mean, not precisely, but it's
No, I know what you mean.
similar values that I had as a
Mm,
social worker come into play when I'm sitting, so obviously when I'm sitting with clients, but also when I'm sitting even with the beings of our solar system and beyond, that I really I value being deeply present with them, right?
mm.
And honoring the being that they actually, because they are alive beings, just like a redwood tree is alive. I mean, you know,
They are.
where
Yeah,
did we
they
come
are.
from? If we came from the cosmos, we are part of the cosmos and we're alive. How can it not be alive? So
And
that's,
we're and everything's all connected anyway in quantum
yeah,
ways. So they are part of us and we're part of them and what, yes.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, in terms of what we're going to talk about today, it's probably something that most people have never heard of. Called it's an Oort Cloud being called Leleakuhonua. So a lot of people have probably heard of Sedna. Um, Sedna was the first discovered being of the Oort cloud, and I'll explain in a minute what the Oort cloud is, but Leleakuhonua is one of the other, there's about 4 or 5 known or identified Oort cloud objects. And
And there
Leleakuhonua,
will be more. There will be a
and
lot
I
more.
mean, there are, the theory is that there's, billions of these. So,
Yeah.
but Leleakuhonua is one of the only other ones other than Sedna that's been named by astronomers. So I dove into learning about it a few months ago, and I think that's what we're about to talk about. Yeah.
It is.
Um, yeah, do
And
you
just so everybody knows, it is in AstroGold software, this body, but it's also numbered 541132. I think you
yes.
can add it in astro.com with that number as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
yeah, it's definitely an astro gold, and it's in Pisces for all of us, quote unquote in Pisces, not on the ecliptic at all, but it's in Pisces.
It was
Uh,
in Aries when it was discovered, though.
oh, was it? Was it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. Six
wow.
Aries. Six
Oh,
Aries.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, um, yeah, when we were, by the time, I get it, right. In
Yeah.
our during our when we were born, for most of us,
Yes.
it would be in Pisces, and then get it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. By now, yes, it was just
Yeah.
conjunct North Node in Aries. Yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you want me to pull up the
Yeah. Yeah,
slides?
let's look at your slides and we'll look at the discovery chart and talk about that together
Yes.
after you find out about this amazing thing.
Love that.
Be yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get, sometimes this is tricky to to get these things up properly.
Mhm.
Um, okay.
There
So,
you go. Looks good.
yeah, and so for everybody listening, I did a free gathering about Leleakuhonua in May of
Mm,
2024, and it's still available. I've made a mini course
mm,
about it, and as I'm about to talk about, what I really want to encourage and support is a kind of co-remembering of this being. So as opposed to,
mm,
you know, what I have seen happen more often is the astronomers discover these things, and then in the astrology world, I think there's a tendency, or there has been a tendency to feel like we as astrologers need to be the expert on them. And
mhm,
I feel
mhm,
like we can't really be an expert on something that's so newly discovered. So we really don't know anything about. So what I really want to be clear about is that I'm trying to just be a space holder for the exploration of this, and just I mean, anybody could be a space holder for the exploration of this.
mhm,
So I'm not trying to have answers. I'm trying to provide information, and
mhm,
then really encourage conversation and deep dive into
mm,
personal knowing. So with that caveat, I will tell
mhm.
you what I know, or some of
Yeah.
what I. So this is
Or what you've discovered at
yeah,
least.
what
Yeah. Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
think I know.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an artist rendition of what astronomers think Leleakuhonua perhaps looks like, just to give a feeling.
Mhm.
And um, so here's our regular solar system, just to give a sense, right? I'll give the really basic explanation of where Leleakuhonua is, because it's very far away. So here's our sun over on the left. Here's our inner planets. Here's the asteroid belt. Um, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and then Pluto, as you might already know, I know you know, Louise, is
Mm.
the beginning of the Kuiper. Well, the orbit of Neptune is the beginning of the Kuiper belt. Anything beyond Neptune is in the Kuiper belt. So Pluto was the first discovered Kuiper Belt object, and then there are many, 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 many others, such as Erisina.
Eris.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Erisina, Haumea, blah blah blah. On and on.
Yeah.
And and then but the Kuiper Belt is not the Oort cloud. So I will show you here. Again, here's another image of the Kuiper Belt again, or they're also called KBOs. What
Yes.
I mean, yeah, Kuiper Belt object, or what is the other word? Trans-Neptunian objects, right? So
Various
yeah.
names.
Yeah.
And astronomers have generally called those dwarf planets in the Kuiper Belt. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But then Ceres is also a dwarf. Anyway, we
Right,
won't.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, there's many crossovers of these words.
Yeah.
And so, but the difference between in the mini course, there's a lot
Can
of
I just ask? Can I
yeah.
just ask if these slides could be available for for
Yes,
people to
the
look at?
slides are
Yeah.
all part of the mini course, but again, it's
Oh,
totally free. So
perfect.
when
Perfect.
you sign up for the mini course, you can download all these slides and actually other slides that I've cut out of here. So this picture here is the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt is like a donut-shaped ring on the outer edge of our solar system. And that, again, that's where Pluto is. That's where Makemake, Erisina, Haumea, all of those are. But the Oort cloud, this is the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is absolutely massively gigantic. In the center of the Oort cloud is our solar system, and you can see this teeny tiny blue dot in the center of the Oort cloud. That's the Kuiper Belt. So to give people a sense of how massive this is, when we think about our own solar system, I mean the inner part of our solar system, Pluto we think of as very, very far away from us, and it has what, a 248-year orbit?
Yep. Yep.
The Eris Xena has double the orbit of Pluto. It's what, 557 years or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's legitimately very far away from us. But the Oort cloud, the Oort cloud being such as Sedna, who is part of the Oort cloud, she has an orbit of 11,400 years. So you can't even compare the length of the orbit of these Oort cloud beings with the length of the orbit of the Kuiper Belt beings. Okay, so that just to give a sense, here's the Oort clouds. It's thought to be this spherical mass of icy objects surrounding the outer edges of our solar system. Like it's the outer things that are still pulled in by the gravitational pull of our sun, basically. Okay.
Although there might even be something further out.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And the Oort cloud actually is even considered it's theoretical to a certain extent. This astronomers are saying, yeah, we probably could call this an Oort cloud, and it probably is something like this, but it's still I would say a theory from what I've read. So just to make sure I'm covering all the bases on what the Oort cloud is, it lies far beyond Pluto and the most distant edges of the Kuiper Belt. And while the planets of our solar system generally orbit in this, the plane of the ecliptic, which is flat, quote unquote, sort of, the Oort cloud is not part of that ecliptic. It's a humongous spherical region around our solar system. So we really can't think of it as equating to our astrology, our flat astrology, because it just doesn't apply. It's just not true. Yeah. And and it's thought to contain potentially billions or maybe even trillions of objects. It's gigantic. Okay, so like I was saying, Sedna is the first of the Oort Cloud beings to have been discovered and named. It was discovered in 2003, and it has an orbit of 11,400 years. Um, it's it's going to be coming the closest point it gets to the sun in 2076.
Mhm.
Uh, and then so coming up, like in other words, it's almost as close as it gets right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there are two
And
other.
I think we can tell
Yeah,
collectively.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I think we
yeah.
feel it. We're certainly, I
Yeah.
mean, it can now
Hmm.
be identified, so that's a big deal. Um,
Yeah.
and then the next one that was identified, the Oort cloud being identified, was one called, currently it's not officially given a name yet, but it's called
Mm.
2012 VP113, or nicknamed Biden.
I actually think that's kind of hilarious because, well, we won't go there,
Yeah, exactly. We won't go there.
but I actually think it's quite appropriate to the shift we're in, that it's currently at
Fascinating.
least named
Wow.
Biden. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, especially given the exact moment we happen to be in right this second when we're recording this.
Well,
But
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But yeah, so now President Biden of the United States
Yeah.
was vice president at the time of the discovery of this being. So, but I haven't focused on
Mhm.
that one simply
Yeah.
because it hasn't been officially given a name and I don't really want to go there.
Well, and also I think these beings speak to us when we are
Yeah.
ready. So I
Yeah.
think that one will speak to us when it's ready. So
Same.
yeah, there you
Exactly.
go.
Yeah, it's not speaking to
Yeah,
me yet. Let me put it like that. I
yeah,
can feel it sort of
yeah.
saying, "Hey, I'm here," but
Hmm.
but it's not saying, "Talk to me, talk to me." For me
Yeah,
personally. But
yeah.
Leleakuhonua is definitely saying, "Talk to me." Um,
Hmm.
so Leleakuhonua was discovered in 2015, and it was discovered and named by astronomers in Hawaii. In Anyway, that's a whole story that I think is really, really beautiful and interesting. It was done. My sense is that the naming was done in a way that was very conscious and
Hmm.
really, really trying to honor the the historical tradition of the Hawaiian culture and language. And
Hmm.
anyway, so I think that's significant and beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, But Leleakuhonua's orbit is 35,760 years approximately, which is 3 times the length of Sedna's.
Hmm.
And that's also significant for anybody who thinks about the precessional cycle, because Sedna's orbit is approximately half of a precessional cycle, which means that Leleakuhonua's orbit is 1.5 times a precessional cycle. So that's a
Hmm.
whole topic in and of itself. But another thing to notice is that the perihelion, or the time when these beings are going to come the closest to the sun,
Hmm.
for Sedna is 2076, and for Leleakuhonua is 2078. So there's this really interesting dance, both in terms of orbit time and perihelion
Oh,
time, and actually even meaning and mythology between Leleakuhonua and Sedna. I'll
yeah.
talk more about in a second, but I think that's probably not a coincidence.
Oh, I don't think it is.
Yeah, yeah. So here are those three in terms of their orbit, if you're looking kind of down. Here's Sedna, the pink one. You can see that. So this is our actual, like the Kuiper belt and our inner solar
It's
system.
We're in that red little dot
Yes,
there.
we're in the red dot. And you can see Sedna's orbit is gigantic. The white one
Hmm.
here is the Biden one. And then here, the orange one, orange, red, brown, that's Leleakuhonua. So
And
massive.
just so people can see, this is where they're going to actually intersect here is this is where they are now, really, so
Yes,
close to us. So
right
yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
And here's another depiction of sort of the how do I say it? The what astronomers are perceiving as the gravitational relationship of these Oort cloud beings, that they have this shared, I can't remember the word they use, but there's kind of a shared gravitational anchor.
Field.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
um with our sun, and then then they shoot off into these again, so they're
Yeah.
not flat plane of our ecliptic at all, at
Yeah.
all. They have all, they have their own very beautiful
Mm,
planes of orbit,
yeah.
not in the plane of our normal planets at all. Yeah, and so that's the word, collective gravity. They're thought to have a collective gravity. um
Hmm.
and that's a whole topic in and of itself, but I love this quote that one of my community members pointed out, which is, what is collective gravity? In supercomputer simulations, the icy objects began orbiting the sun just like everything else does in the solar system. But over time, they began to pull and push on each other, and their orbits grew wonkier, i.e., collective gravity.
Yeah.
Okay. Individually, all of the gravitational interactions between these small bodies are weak, but if you have enough of them, that becomes important. So what this person in my community was pointing out is, could be an interesting parallel process metaphor for us for anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
Really beautiful.
I think we see the same with the centaurs too, to be honest, how
Yeah.
they're working together. So yeah, just to
Yeah.
open somebody's mind up to that. So there you
Hmm.
go.
Yeah. And here's just one more view of the Sedna orbit. You can see, absolutely massively gigantic compared to our solar system. This purple one is
Mm,
Pluto, and you can see how much
mhm.
farther away Sedna goes. And then you can see here the inclined orbit of Sedna. So again, not on that elliptical plane, doing its
Mhm,
own thing. Um, and same thing with the Biden one. And
mhm,
yeah, and then here again, just showing the relationship of the precessional cycle and the orbit of Sedna and Leleakuhonua that I already talked about.
mm.
Okay, so then getting into like, what is Leleakuhonua? What is that name? Um, Really fascinating. This is unlike any other name of any astronomical phenomenon that I know of. So, so just to give the basics of this being, like I already said, it was Leleakuhonua was discovered in October 13th, 2015 by Hawaiian researchers and students. It's thought to be spherical and 68 miles in diameter. And um, and it is, like I've said all these other things here, but it's currently in quote unquote Pisces, but really when I look on Stellarium, it shows up in the Pegasus constellation, so which is in between the fish of Pisces, right?
Mhm.
So, again, take this all with many grains of salt when
Yeah,
we're trying to equate it to the ecliptic, but
bec- because we're
um
still discovering all
yeah.
this thing as well. So,
Yeah.
and constellations are not signs, but
Yeah.
all
All of
of that kind of thing. So
Oh wait,
yeah.
sorry, and I mixed that up. So it's actually currently in the seasonal sign of Aries in
Yes.
the
Yeah.
constellation of Pegasus,
Yes.
right above or in between the fish of the constellation of Pisces. Right. Okay. And I'll show that a little bit more in a second too. So there's
Incidentally, Pegasus was said to spring from the severed head of Medusa, which is
yes,
our Algol, which is so active at the moment. But that's on
yes,
to that's on to fixed stars. So we
yes.
won't
No,
go
but
there. Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
related. It's all related
Yeah.
because yeah,
Hmm.
the Pegasus constellation is right next to Andromeda, which is right next to Perseus, which is where Algol is, which is,
Yes.
and those three go together, as part of the same
Mhm.
story. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, okay. So another just sort of thing to percolate on for anybody who feels.
I love this, that it was nicknamed the Goblin. I love it.
Yeah. So when it was first discovered, on October 13th, 2015, it was very close to Halloween. And so the astronomers nicknamed Leleakuhonua Goblin, which, just is interesting to, again, if that calls to you, percolate on that. I don't have any information of what that means, but some people in the free course, there's a lot of comments in there, and some people were sharing their thoughts on that. So, please chime in if you have any thoughts. Yeah. And then I did last week, actually, I did a video with Keone Hanalei, who is a Hawaiian, I want to say wisdom keeper. He's native Hawaiian and a really wonderful person. And if you are interested in hearing his perspective on Leleakuhonua plus Sedna, plus some of the Kuiper Belt objects, it's on my YouTube channel. It's also, I'll put it in the mini course for Leleakuhonua, but it's a beautiful conversation. But something that he pointed out to me, even before that conversation, when he and I were just having email back and forth about Leleakuhonua, is that, so the name is a Hawaiian word, or a Hawaiian phrase. And it was really important to him to point out that the Hawaiian language is, in a sense, like poetry. So, not linear, not what I took away essentially from what he said was how important it is to be in the experience of the word, to be in the feeling of the word, as opposed to try to directly or literally translate it, because that's just not going to be accurate. And I think that's part of what Leleakuhonua actually perhaps brings into our consciousness and awareness on many levels, is that we've been in a time where we're trying to categorize, rationalize, make everything linear. And that's just not how life actually works. And it becomes...
And science is discovering that too, as we talked about before. So, we are just, all our lives and for centuries, we've been trying to just separate it all off. Polarities, this is black and this is white, and no, nothing
exactly
like that.
Yeah. And I think that's I think we're realizing that's actually quite destructive. So that's a whole topic in and of itself, right? I love academia. I mean, I love intellectual exploration, all of it. I love science. I love astronomy. And
me too.
Yeah, exactly. I think we're in a time now where we can start bringing back our intuitive knowing and all of it, and merging that with our intellect. So yeah,
exactly. So just to bring it down to just the practice of astrology, that would mean kind of like getting your books, learning the keywords and things, and then learning how that feels in you. Not just staying in the head. So anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, so I think that even the approach to this being can support us in that, which is really, really cool. So, but having said that, I will try to dissect, even though we shouldn't be dissecting this word. I'm going to dissect it anyway, just to give us a little bit of help. So one thing that Keone pointed out, again, because he does speak Hawaiian, is that the accents in the word make a humongous difference. And in the video I did with him last week, again, which is available anytime anybody wants to see it, he talks more in detail about this. But he's basically saying that without the accents, Lele means to fly, Aku means away, and Hanua means earth or planet. So, Leleakuhonua, you could interpret as sort of the thing that flies away from the earth, which we will see in a minute, would make sense. But he said, though, when we then do include the accents, which Leleakuhonua has, Lelea literally means marine creature. Ku can mean to appear or rise, and Hanua means a planet. So it's, you could interpret as the watery being birthed of a planet, which is really, really different than the thing that flies away from Earth or the planet, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, really interesting to just go ahead. Yeah.
That's pinged what I had a thought of when I listened to you and Heather talking before.
Mm,
That this brings me to, I think the Oort cloud is probably part of like birthing what we have here on this earth. And if you even think of like the birth of Venus, where that came from, it came from Uranus having been said in the myth to be castrated, and it all coming from the ocean.
yes.
I think this is kind of like, we are from this kind of chaos, this all the indigenous kind of dreamtime kind of energy is kind of marine, kind of water, but we are, it's everything came from. This is like the past, where we come from in many
Yeah,
ways. That's kind of how it feels to me. Everything.
definitely. Hmm. Yeah, I completely resonate with all of that for sure.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
definitely,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Um, so Leleakuhonua is referring in some way, with one of those definitions, some version of those definitions we just talked about of the being that emerges from the ocean or something along those lines. But it's actually what it's referring to is the flight or some quality of the kolea bird. So this is
Mm,
some images of the kolea bird, and the kolea bird is also called a golden plover. Kolea is the Hawaiian name for it, and so Lelia Kuhanua is, you can dive much more into this in the mini course, but basically the kolea bird is one of the creatures of creation that are talked about in the creation story written
mhm,
by or translated, actually not written, translated by Queen Lilio. This is terrible. I don't want to say her name wrong. Basically, the Queen of Hawaii. And interesting and ironically, and again, another whole deep dive that we could do,
mhm,
that she translated this creation story that was written by one of her relatives, um, a member of the royal family of Hawaii, while she, the queen, was
mhm.
imprisoned in her own land by people of the United States who were trying to,
Yep,
say,
yep.
steal her land, right? Um,
And in the you cannot make this stuff up department, I literally watched a John Oliver episode. We're recording this in August, by the way, last night, telling the story of this.
you did? I want to
Yes,
see that.
it's
Oh,
on it's on YouTube, I think, for
oh,
Hawaii. Yeah. So
oh,
anyway, yeah,
wow. Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Hmm.
again, we could go on a whole tangent about
Oh,
colonization and,
yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
colonization of so many aspects of life. And anyway, but
Hmm.
the bottom line is there's a really, really, really beautiful video that I have in the mini course of Native Hawaiian children speaking part of this creation story that was written by the queen. And you can, when you watch that video, I can just feel, that it's, again, it's conveyed in a way that is so much about the being of it as opposed to the linear words of it.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
not translatable in that way. It's a feeling, it's an aliveness. And so Lelia Kuhanua is part of, it's coming out of that way of being with life.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
so okay, there's so much more you can explore with that if you're interested.
Yeah,
Mini
yeah,
course. There's much more. But just to give a little more information about the Kolea bird, because it is really, really interesting. So the Kolea bird mates and hatches in the Arctic of Alaska, which is where Sedna lives, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
the Kolea bird, which Leleakuhonua is describing, starts out in the home of Sedna. Fascinating.
Mm.
Um, and then the once the birds are hatched and are, old enough, then the females leave Alaska and fly by themselves to Hawaii. Then a little while later, the males leave and fly also to the same place in Hawaii. And then uh, in the fall, October, November, somehow the babies who have been left in Alaska, they know somehow how to fly to the same place in Hawaii. And all these little Kalea birds make this nonstop 3-day flight from,
Amazing.
yeah, from the
And
Arctic.
don't they always have four babies, did you say?
Yes,
Or
yes, 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 and
yes,
yes,
which is just, yeah, they're
fascinating.
so int but we won't go there as well.
Yeah, I
I just
mean,
thought I'd mention. Yeah, they always have four,
yeah,
apparently. It's just like
so
they
interesting.
I can let you guys go and research those birds more.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then there's
Yeah,
again so much more in the mini course about the
mm,
Kolea bird and how
there is.
in Hawaii they are very well known. Apparently, I mean, if anybody here actually lives in Hawaii or is Hawaiian, please chime in because I'm
Mm,
not, and I don't. Anyway, I'm not an expert on this at all. But my understanding is that the Kalea birds are very well known, and they often choose a particular spot that they'll come back to every time, and a lot of time they'll choose like the yard of a human, and so the humans will
mm,
often have an ongoing relationship with the same Kolea bird, which is really cute and adorable and awesome.
just
Super awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, Very relatable. And then I
Yeah.
just want to, yeah, throw in again, uh, so Leleakuhonua currently is, if you look on an astrology chart, it'll show you that it's near the north node of the moon in Aries. Um, and it'll be in Aries for, a very long time. But if we look in the sky, it's actually more kind of here in Pegasus, which
Mhm.
is in between the fish of Pisces. And so if we want to go down that road, what is Pegasus about? Well, then we get into the whole
Yeah.
mythology of Pegasus with Andromeda and Perseus and Medusa, and
Mm.
there's a whole road we can go down with that.
Oh yeah, but yeah.
But just to give really, really brief, super brief thoughts about Pegasus. So in Greek mythology, Pegasus is the son of Poseidon or Neptune and Medusa, and he arose from the blood of Medusa's head. He was a winged horse of pure heart, and he was born near the springs of the ocean. Like his father, Poseidon, Pegasus was capable of creating water streams wherever he struck his hoof. So I find that
Mhm.
really
Mm.
interesting.
Me too.
But yeah. Um, and so here's, just pictures of there's Pegasus, Perseus, Medusa's head. And then we could get into a whole conversation, of course, about the patriarchal overlays of all of this. And
Oh yes, but
there's
that's because these were written by men in a
yeah,
different time and from a different perspective, and a lot of myths are being reinterpreted.
yeah,
But it's still amazing to me how they made these connections,
totally.
even though their interpretation was
Yeah.
interesting, shall we say?
Yeah. And I'd just throw in how much I absolutely adore Medusa. And
Me too.
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you do. Yeah.
I actually have a T-shirt that's got Medusa's head on it, and it says "Petrify the patriarchy,"
Yeah.
and I think of it as well as not only scaring it but also freezing it out, which is interesting because the Oort cloud is icy objects.
Fascinating. Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so much more we could get into here with this.
Because the patriarchy is dying in this big
Yeah.
shift we're in. It's
Yeah. Exactly.
it's going. Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
And then to throw in a more kind of mystical sense of Pegasus, if we just kind of let go of the Greek mythology and we just come even just to this version of what is a Pegasus, then have this magical light being creature. I don't know. There's so many ways we
Mhm,
can interpret what is Pegasus. So I'm just putting out this option as well. Um,
mhm.
and yeah, and I do think it's kind of interesting if we look at an image of the Colea bird and the Pegasus, they're both these beautiful flying
Flying.
creatures. And I don't know.
And
Um,
just to kind of go to what flight means in many ways
mm,
of the time we're in so many ways we are moving into an age of air. So
oh, wow. I did not think about
there,
that.
there you
Oh,
go. This
Aquarian and Gemini.
Yeah,
Mm.
and the Venus star point has moved back into Libra air sign. There's so many ways we're moving into a major time of air,
Wow,
and I find that connection interesting too. So there you go.
definitely. I had not even, yeah, see? This is why we all need to have this conversation together. There's no one
Yeah,
perspective that's going to contain all of it. I mean, yeah,
there isn't.
beautiful.
And of course Sedna's just moved into Gemini and air sign too. So
Yes, right. And then Uranus next year. And yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So many ways. Yeah. Anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, here is what I could find as in terms of a discovery chart of Leleakuhonua. Did you have
Mm.
thoughts?
Well, yes, I do.
Yeah.
I find it really interesting of what's happening now and what's being kind of burst out of people is that Uranus, I kind of feel like Uranus discovery in 1781 broke open everything. And all
Mm,
these discoveries since then have started to bring us into the age of Aquarius, for
mm.
want of a better word name for it. And the first thing I noticed here is that Uranus was at the degree by 1 degree of the eclipse on April the 8th. So there you go. And the discovery chart is about to have a reverse nodal return because I know that because my south node is at 0 Aries. So
Mine is at 24 Aries, so I just had mine
uh-huh.
last fall. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, well, and I just want to tune into some of the degrees as well. So she was discovered. So this is her, right? 6 Aries, right? So this is her,
Yes.
isn't it?
And her
Yes.
discovery. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I'm calling it this being her, but
I know me.
I just think you've got a few more things in there than I usually use, but I'm open to them all, of course, and only because I try not to complicate it too much. But on the discovery date, we had Pluto at 13 Capricorn in a lovely trine to Jupiter in Virgo, and Mars was there. And I always think of 13 as the number of the divine feminine, the witch. So, I always look at the degree numbers as well. There's a lovely, this is a wedge pattern to kind of coming from all these energies. Um,
What's a wedge pattern?
to,
I don't know.
um, okay, so there's the opposition, okay, um, from this body, from Vesta, from the South Node to these energies in Libra. And um, they are both aspecting Saturn in Sagittarius, which, one way of looking at it is man-made laws, man-made rules, structures, what that we're in, the patriarchy, back to that one again. But
Mm.
back to the degrees, Pluto, Jupiter, 13 degrees, the number of the goddess, the number of the witch, if you want to call it that. Saturn is currently transiting over Chiron in Pisces. It's like I could go on and on and on because I just know where everything is right now, but I also noticed the moon on that day. Of course, we don't have a time, but I mentioned that we've just had a Venus star point move back into Libra. All these things kind of talk to me.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel it's another part in the big shift we're going through. Pluto last stationed direct in Capricorn before this last dip that's going to happen on September the 1st. You will have had that already when this goes out, is conjunct Ceres, which is another energy that's coming in to help us heal in so many ways. Must get my book written on Ceres.
Yes,
I
you did
did.
definitely.
I know. I've time. But anyway, yeah, you give me your thoughts too. I'm just
Well,
like,
the big, big, big thing jumping out at me, actually, I hadn't even
mm,
thought about this until you pointed out
mhm,
Uranus being on the point of the April 8th eclipse. There would
mm,
this so Leleakuhonua earlier that day would have been a new moon, right?
mhm,
Probably at about 19 Libra, opposite
mhm.
Uranus. So opposite the place of our new moon solar eclipse on April 8th. And this
Yeah.
probably wasn't an eclipse, but it would have been like almost an eclipse because it's pretty darn,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah. Let me go back and
Yeah.
while you talk, go on about
Yeah.
that while yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this definitely would have been, very, very, if it's not an eclipse, it would have been very near the eclipse season, definitely.
Oh, it
Uh,
was. Yeah.
yeah. So that's really
No.
fast.
Yeah, it wasn't an eclipse. The
Okay.
eclipse was on September the 13th at 20 Virgo, but yeah, but it was kind of heading into eclipse season. You're right.
Mm.
There was a lunar total eclipse though on September the 28th, just before the discovery at 4 Aries. So there you
Or
go.
Aries.
Uh,
Wow. So actually right on where Leleakuhonua was.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
and what was opposing that at that time? Black Moon Lilith, the feminine
Perfect.
again, rising up.
There
Anyway.
we go. Hmm.
hmm Yeah.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually also absolutely love, and both Martha and I have had many chats with Melanie Reinhardt about Cariclo, Centaur Cariclo. She was
Yeah.
on the Galactic Center on that discovery. So.
Ooh. I don't even have, why do I not have, oh, there she is. Yeah, oh, right on the ground. Yes, there she is right here.
Mhm,
Yep.
mhm.
Wow. Yeah, and I do think it's fascinating that the nodal reversal is coming up at the end of this year. I mean, probably actually right around the
Mhm.
time you put this video out, it'll be pretty much the nodal
It
reversal.
will,
Yeah.
yeah, because the nodes move out of Aries and Libra in January, so
Yeah.
it will be pretty much, yeah.
Wow. So now she's
I
kind of
know.
making herself known or something.
Yes,
Fast.
exactly. Yeah, I love it. And I just find it a very nice chart, very healing. There's very few kind of what I would call really challenging aspects. It's got more kind of dynamism and creation and healing kind of energy in it, to my mind. Just overall, just looking at the patterns, it feels very much um like a chart that's come in to heal.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Plus
And
we plus we've got all that Pisces Virgo energy in the chart, which the nodes are going to move back into next year. And even though we're moving into an age of air, there is also a big shift, I think, into kind of what I would call more humble kind of way of living, more pared down, which is very Virgoan. And Pisces, of course, is, the oceanic last sign, um, letting go of the old before we move into the new of Aries. So there's just
yes. Yes,
so much to
exactly. And
say
next
about.
early
Yeah.
next, I've been thinking a lot about early 2025 and the whole dance. There's gonna be so much, as you probably noticed, there's gonna be so much going on between the dance of Pisces and Aries. And actually, I'm also
Oh.
noticing that, the Uranus, I mean, no, sorry, the Neptune-Saturn conjunction will be basically on the south node of this chart,
Yeah,
right?
it will. Yes, it will. Yeah. Yeah, and currently Uranus has been going over Sedna as well. So, well, in the discovery chart.
Uh-huh.
It's just, and of course, this is very close to where our goal is too, to bring it back
Yes.
to that myth.
Yeah.
So, it's just
Yeah.
like over and over and over, everything just keeps validating. Even before I discovered this being, that we are moving into. I don't think we're moving into a matriarchy. I think we're moving into a time of balance and
Yeah.
equality and just real expanded consciousness. I love that it was discovered that the being, well, it was discovered on the 13th as well. So there's that
Oh,
13 again. So
again. Yes.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
one other thing I'll just point out is that the new moon, which again was, just following the eclipse season and still kind of like in that eclipse energy, the new moon would have
Hmm.
been opposite also Eris Xena. I mean, so opposite Uranus, but also opposite Eris Xena. So if I'm just
Yeah.
fitting into, I think there's so many aspects here of this chart, but definitely seems like it's something helping to support us to come into this balance of both deeply grounding in our own individual truth, our own individual sovereignty, our
Hmm.
own individual sense of what's right and just and
Hmm.
voice. And then, but then at the same time, North Node in Libra, New Moon in Libra, all of it, Mercury in Libra,
Balance,
the
all of
balance, exactly, the whole balancing of it, that
hmm
we are currently, as the nodes are finishing up their time, also in Aries and Libra, just flipped. We've been in this time of a huge theme of trying to figure
hmm
out how can I be both sovereign on honoring of myself and yet in relationship where I don't become passive aggressive, I don't shut myself down, I don't,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
I don't play nice just for the sake of playing
Yes.
nice as well. And so the new moon was actually just the evening before October the 12th at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. So
Beautiful.
at 19
19.
degrees.
So exactly
Yeah.
opposite the April 8th eclipse we just had.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Not noticed that.
Yeah.
And I was, yeah, wow, that's fascinating. I was told
Mm,
very specifically by my prayers to hold the free event that I had, just after that eclipse. It was in
right.
May of 2024. So, wow,
Yeah.
fascinating.
I
Mm.
know. It my mind blows on a daily basis with
Yes.
all these new
Like, how does
new
this work?
information coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah. And then
Let's
you'll be putting out this video, right at the time of the nodal reversal.
I will.
Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, and I just really briefly for anybody who's interested, it was on June 8th of 2024 that if we were going to equate Leleakuhonua's orbit with our ecliptic, which you can't really, but it was quote unquote conjunct the North Node exactly
At,
on June.
at 13 degrees.
Oh, 13 again, 13, 13, more 13s. Wow. I love it. Um, great.
And even though you can't equate the orbit with the ecliptic, I think we have to, we
Yeah.
have to look at the chart, even if it's, and I don't see the chart as 3D anymore. I was
Mhm.
talking about that with astrologist Steve Judd out of the UK. We recorded a joint vlog, and I was just saying, the chart just moves for me now. And I think that's astrologers, this is the way we're called to move towards,
Yes.
learn from the books, all that mental, of course, but
Yes.
then let the chart and the patterns just speak to you. Yeah. And
Exactly.
yeah,
Literally. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I would say
yeah,
for me, it just jumps out. Like I'll
yeah,
be doing a reading and
yeah.
something will just jump out at me. It's like,
Oh, same,
talk to
same.
me.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
So,
And I think that's everything I had in here. Yeah.
yeah. So, just on your kind of, and yes, I know we are just discovering what this means for us. If you could kind of encapsulate what this being has come into our consciousness to teach us, I think, or for us to understand, are there any kind of feelings, words that you could, I know it's a big, big, big topic, but
Yeah.
I'm sure you've thought about it.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's really interesting that so again, with that caveat that we can and cannot equate this being's orbit with the ecliptic, but I do think it's really interesting, nevertheless, that my son, when I was born, was at 14 of Pisces,
Hmm.
with Leleakuhonua at 15 of Pisces. So
Hmm.
I I've thought about that and what does that feel like in my own being? And something I feel like I'm here to do, and I think this being is maybe also here. Lots of us are here to do,
Hmm.
but I think she has a specific role. There's something about her. I get this image of the hula hoop, of her orbit being like a hula hoop, and the sense of her holding space, like as we remember her, as we think about even
Mm.
conceptualize this 36,000 year orbit, which is
Yeah, I know.
gigantic. Um, I think that just immediately takes us into a certain, even on a tiny level, a certain kind of remembering of the totality of the space that we're being held in even
Hmm.
the outer reaches of our solar system. And then for me, I think for a lot of us, that can start to bring up a remembering of the totality of who we are also.
Yeah.
And
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
biggest, I mean, I do astrology, but the biggest soul directive I have in my work is really I'm here to hold space for us to remember the totality of who we are. That's really what I do. I do a
Yeah.
lot of channeling, and I do a lot of not even astrology related channeling
Hmm.
of messages of remembering, really remembering that we are beings of the cosmos, we are beings of the earth, we're literally made of the stuff that makes the stars, right? And
Yep.
so, I mean, it's a scientific fact. Um,
Yep. It
and
is
yeah,
quantum science. Quantum
literally,
science.
it's a
We
thing.
are wavicles. Mark Jones came up with that.
Yeah,
Wave, both wave and particle.
yeah, that exactly
And
that.
and
Right.
everything else is a wavicle too.
Yes. Right. And so with my background, as a clinical social worker, I'm also acutely aware of the trauma we've been through, not only
Hmm.
in this lifetime, we're still going
Oh,
through, but also in eons of how mm, horrifically humans have treated
each
ourselves
other
and everything.
and the earth
Yeah, and
yeah,
the
and
life
everything.
in general. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so when we've been living in this time, you could call it a time of forgetting, or you could just call it
Mm.
times of extreme violence and strife. It's really, really easy to forget the wholeness that we are and the
Hmm.
totality of who we are, and to
Hmm.
go into a trauma response because we were
Yeah,
traumatized. And so we go into fight or flight mode, and we feel fragmented and we feel dissociated even from the totality of the reality of life
yeah,
itself. And so my work on a bigger level, the biggest level, is about help holding space for us
me
to
too.
remember the wholeness that we are.
Yeah,
And I feel Leleakuhonua, I think, has a similar potential in as we
yeah.
engage with her. Um, yeah, so that would be my simplest
Or
answer.
she's a part of it, or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah,
And if I could even simplify it down, um, even deeper, it's mending the sacred hoop. It's like of
yeah.
everything. And you said it was like a hoop. I've just looked where she was when I was born, and she was at 8 Pisces, because as you said, for most of us, that's she would have been in Pisces when we were born. Anybody probably born, you know, later in this century we're in, will have it in Aries, but that's exactly opposing my Venus star point. And you know that I work with the Venus star point. And to my mind, that's the physicality of who we are. And that's that. I'm just like, plus I have so much at 6, 7, 8 degrees in my chart. So she's speaking to every part of my chart nearly. So I'm going to be processing that a little bit for what that means for me.
Yeah.
And she's in my second house. So
Beautiful.
but yeah, the sacred who, or and this is why I wanted to put this on, because I just think astrology um is moving towards that way. Like if we can open our hearts, our minds, and things to saying we're not in this linear, empirical, rational world only anymore. We are in this world where it's both right, left brain, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I can throw in one other thing, which is
Hmm.
something I've been thinking about a lot. It gets slightly down a different topic, but it's related, is as the Kuiper Belt objects and the Oort Cloud beings are being discovered, we know that a lot of the names are no longer Greek, Roman gods and goddesses.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
all kinds of other things. And I love that. I think that's awesome. And I think
Mm.
I just want to toss out toss out an idea, toss out so I don't know, my own feeling, which is Leleakuhonua is a really great example. And the conversation I had with Keone Hanalei, I think we really dive into this more. But I feel so strongly that we need to slow down our
Mhm.
attempt to interpret things and our attempt
Yes.
to have answers, because so Keone and I talk about make and Haumea, for example, and Haumea also is a Hawaiian goddess, right? And again, Keone is Hawaiian, native speaker, blah blah blah,
Hmm.
and I'm not. and
Hmm.
um and I don't think that means that I shouldn't have an opinion or a feeling at all. But
Oh.
like I said to him, I've really taken a step back from certain ones of these Kuiper Belt beings,
Hmm.
like Haumea, like Makemake, because their names come out of traditions that are so ancient,
Mm.
so not known to me. And I feel the need to be really careful. And
Mhm.
again, not to colonize them. That's kind of bottom line, right? Like that. So again, that doesn't mean not
Yeah.
having a relationship with them. I think it's really
Hmm.
important for us each to have relationships with anything we feel called to, because it's all here. We're all part of it. And at the same time, I cannot possibly be an expert on Haumea. I'm not. Or
But
Make, or so I feel like my first step is I want to take a step back and deeply listen.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Period.
And I agree completely, but I think I would say the time we're moving into, it's almost beyond the old cultures. I kind of think, and that chat I had with Steve Judd, he agreed too. It's like I think we're moving into this time where we realize it's just all connected anyway. So I think we are allowed to kind of express what we're feeling it might mean to us at
Definitely.
this point, as we're still
Definitely.
discovering more.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
yeah, for me, it's really about honor. It's all about honoring. That's the bottom line. So
mhm,
honoring ourselves too, honoring that
yeah,
my knowing is going to be just as needed as your knowing, as just,
yeah,
every single one of us. So I think
yeah.
I had a tendency to do two sides of the same coin. One is we've some of us have felt like we need to be the expert. I would say that's
Oh, yeah.
especially the white male version is
Oh,
that's where
yeah.
we get our value, is to be an expert, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, that's just true. The flip side of that is to feeling like we're not the expert and therefore we mean nothing. We have no value,
Yes.
and our voice
Yes.
doesn't count.
Yeah.
Well, that's not cool either, right?
Oh,
Especially
it
as
really
women,
isn't.
especially as
Yeah.
women, we have been trained not to have opinions, not to speak, not to even think. Um,
Oh, yeah.
we're done with that time, right? So it's just a matter of finding the balance of all of the above for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that, yeah, we don't need to share it again, but looking at the discovery chart of this lovely being, that aspect, a wedge pattern, which I, describe the opposition and a sextile and a trine, is obviously much more supportive and healing than a T-square, which is push, challenge, to Saturn, which is the expert in some ways. And Saturn is in Sagittarius, saying, be open to new truths, new ideas. You may be an expert at one level, but there's always more to know.
Yes. And it's trining the south node in that chart. Right, right. I
Yes.
mean, you're talking about the wedge pattern.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with wedge patterns, so I can't speak to that, but
Yeah.
just the trine to the south node, that's beautiful.
Yeah. 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 So, and Saturn is the guide, I always prefer to say, rather than ruler. I do not use those words
Mhm.
anymore, of Capricorn, which is the structures of our lives that we live under. And it's been described as a patriarchy, but it's not. It's going to be something new. So anyway, there
Beautiful.
you go.
Mm.
Well, Martha, thank you. This was so interesting, and I really encourage everybody to go and register for that free course on Martha's site, but also to input what you feel about this being and what it says to you. Now that we've spoken about it, I will be sitting looking at it in my chart and going, what is that telling me? Whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah.
And in that mini course, I'm actually just realizing I've had this conversation now with you, had a
Hmm.
conversation with Heather Ensworth, which you mentioned, Keone Hanalei, Pam Gregory, and Kelly Hunter, and all the videos are there in the mini course. They're also all on my
Hmm.
website. I mean, on my YouTube channel. But
Yeah.
I think it's so important to get so many different perspectives, and
Mhm.
yeah, it's beautiful. It's how
Yeah.
this should be.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
We are co-creating this future we're moving into.
yeah,
And boy are we moving into it fast. So, be a part of it, I think I say.
yeah.
So,
And I'm
all
so
right.
excited to hear the rest of the talks in this
I know there's going to be
gathering.
some good ones.
Yay! Yay!
All right. Well, thank you again, and we'll leave it there. So bye everybody, and check out the other talks and interviews, please. And I'll see you next time.
Yay!